Good evening, everyone, and welcome to CK Sports Talk here on the Mighty XS. My name's Peter Cobb, and we are live, folks, for the very first time. Crabby Joe's here in Wallaceburg. My partner in crime, he is the wizard from Wallaceburg, Mr. Shawn, Patrick Moynihan, back at the studios. You got her. He's the greatest producer we've ever had. The great Corey North, who'll be heading south to Ridgetown, that is. And Mr. Moynihan, we are blessed this evening for our very first live broadcast to have a young kid who was a dean when he played for Dresden in hockey. He was a superstar with the Saginaw Spirit. He was a champion with the Barrie Colts. And right now he's a phenom with the Calgary Flames. I speak none other the number 7, TJ Brodie. But TJ, first of all, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Man, this is super. But we got to talk about, we're going to bring you good luck because a week ago we had Bridget Carlton on the show, Shawn, and she was waiting to hear, am I going to get a tryout with the national team that will be going to Rio? And, well, you share the news.
Well, good news, Peter. Bridget is heading, I think, this Saturday to Edmonton. She's got a tryout with Team Canada. Of course, she was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. She's from Chatham, Ontario. And that Olympic team is pretty well set. They've got a dynamite of a team. But what an honor for her to get selected. And she was telling me, she says, even if she doesn't make the team, she's hoping to get a kick at the Olympic development team. And I said, you know, what does that mean? And she says, oh, we'll be playing in a few tournaments in the summer in the United States, maybe Puerto Rico, maybe Europe. So, Bridget, congratulations. And I have tremendous confidence, Pete, that one day she's going to be wearing the red and white. Maybe I think the next Summer Olympics are in Japan. And wouldn't it be spectacular? But, Pete, we are so blessed today to have such a class act. The great TJ Brodie. You've been so accommodating, TJ. Welcome to CK Sports Talk.
Thanks.
Listen, TJ, I want to get it over with right off the bat. Last season. A year ago at this time, we were all ecstatic over the tremendous run by the Calgary Flames in the playoffs. I believe you crushed the Vancouver Canucks. A year ago you had a record of 45, 30, and 7. And this year you dropped to 35, 40, and 7. Really, about 10 losses difference. Tell me about this year. What just kind of went wrong?
Yeah, after last year, we had high expectations. You know, we wanted to do better this year and get in the playoffs again. And to start the year, it was tough. We got in a little bit of a slump to start, and when that happens, it's tough to get back in it. You got to make up ground, and it seems that no matter how many games you win, the teams that you're battling with end up winning, and the gap stays the same. And it was just that was the difference between making the playoffs this year and not. If you look at the points that got into the playoffs this year, it was a lot lower than last year.
Right.
So if we would have had a different start, we may not be talking right now.
Right. Well, last year you had a real young team. You also had tremendous goaltending last year in the playoffs. And I don't want to throw it on the goaltending this year, but I don't think you currently have a goaltender for next year. I think they're all free agents or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, the goaltending situation in Calgary. Any thoughts there? Have you heard any rumblings or anything like that?
I haven't heard anything yet. I think it's something that they'll probably address it after the draft, and
right.
And, who knows? Maybe July 1st, some stuff might happen. But right now it's your guess is as good as mine is.
Okay. Well, listen, we need Calgary in the playoffs, and Pete, no one from Canada made it into the playoffs this year. Ironically, viewership in Canada is down 66% for playoff games, and TJ, a little later we're going to talk about the playoffs and see what your opinion is there. I'm sorry to bring up that tough season last year, but I thought, let's get it over with. I know you have the 6th pick this year.
Yeah.
And reading online a few blogs. They've mentioned maybe that Nylander kid might be coming your way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the draft.
Yeah. The draft's something that you can never really predict. If one team goes off the board with a pick, then, the rest of the draft order is, completely different than what they project. So it's always fun to watch.
Yeah, well, and we're going to talk about your draft year a little later in our program. And, folks, we are here live at Crabby Joe's. They've been so good to us here. We're going to have some questions, actually, from the crowd a little later, Pete. We already have some flooding into here. Let's talk about the present Calgary Flames, though. Tell us, as guys who sit at home on the couch eating salads and watching the hockey game, what does game day look like for you?
Yeah, it's actually pretty boring. You wake up, go to the rink. We'll do some video, maybe a pregame skate, depending on the schedule, and then after that, you'll grab a bite to eat, go home or go to the hotel, have a nap, and I usually try to get to the rink for around 3 hours before the game. And
3 hours, okay.
Yeah, and then you play, and then depending on the schedule again, you might go out for a bite afterwards, or just go back home and relax.
Because I find it interesting. I'll watch a game, and it's Detroit and Chicago, and then the next day, they're leaving after the game to go back to Chicago to play. Tell me about the travel in the NHL. We find the NHL so glamorous, so incredible on our HD screen, but there's got to be something about travel that's quite draining.
Yeah, it's tough. It's an adjustment. You have to get used to it, and I think finding the balance between knowing when, you can do something after a game or when you should be relaxing, or even during the day if you have a chance to, sort of lay down and do nothing. I think it helps, and it's a lot of it's mostly time change. In the West, you're always changing the time zones. Going forward, going backwards, and that's when it takes your body, that extra time just to adjust and catch up on the rest you need.
TJ, talk to us a little bit. Would that be up on the board after a game? Okay, tomorrow, this is our day plan to get on the bus. We're going to get to the plane, or your meals. Are they planned out ahead of time? You got a nutritionist with the hockey club. I know you have a strength and conditioning coach. What's that look like?
Again, it depends on the schedule. When we're on the road, I think this year we only stayed over once after a game. The rest of the time, as soon as the game's over, we go straight to the airport, fly out. So they have all the meals and stuff are on the plane. There's food at the rink if guys are, hungry right after the game. When we're at home, it's as soon as the game's done, you'll have the board, and it'll say what time the meeting's at the next morning and what time practice is at. So guys know when they have to be at the rink. But again, that could all change with the new coach. So it's never the same. Every team's different. Every team has their routine, and once you get used to it, it's pretty easy to get in a sort of a routine depending on the travel.
Yeah, nothing routine about it. Incredible. Listen, let's talk about some of your teammates. I'd be curious to know, first of all, a lot of your forwards, you have some young kids. I want to ask you about a couple of them and give us a quick, blurb on your opinion of them. What about my namesake, the great Shawn Moynihan? And I'm going to tell you, TJ, I love it when that kid scores in overtime and is on the news.
Yeah.
Because all my friends send me a text. Great goal, Shawn. Or good. Tell us about Shawn Moynihan.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's a two-way guy, and he knows how to find the pockets and get open for the breakout passes, and at the same time, he's clutch. If the game's tied, you need a goal. He finds a way to come up big and get the goals, whether it's in the dirty area or, he's got a great shot, and he uses that well, too.
Yeah, he's exciting. What about Johnny Gaudreau? You got to love his excitement, and is he as exciting in the dressing room, on the plane with the team, as he is on the ice?
Sometimes. He's actually he's a pretty quiet guy.
Is he?
Yeah, but, he's exciting to watch. He's one of those guys that, he'll make something out of nothing, and it looks like he has no room, and he finds a way to back guys off and find the space to make a play. And overall, he's fun to watch. And, when he gets the puck in the rink at Calgary, the fans go nuts, and you can feel the buzz in the air whenever he touches the puck. So it helps the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Two young kids, Moynihan and Goodrow there. Someone I really admire from a distance on your team, I believe he's your captain. Last time we talked to you referred to him as Gio. Mark Giordano. Tell us, he just seems to be such a natural leader. He did suffer a terrible injury last year just prior to the playoffs. I believe it was a torn bicep.
Yep.
Tell us about Gio.
Yeah, you said it. He's a great leader. He does everything. He's a guy that guys look up to in the room. He doesn't talk a lot, but when he says something, guys listen, and he leads by example. He's a guy that goes hard every shift. He'll do whatever it takes to win. He'll block shots, take a hit, and he knows how to score. So he's overall, I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the league, and he's definitely one of the best leaders in the league. Yeah, he's such a superstar.
And tell us as we leave your team, who haven't I mentioned? Who really impresses you? Who comes every day to play? Who else are you tight with on the team that you really admire their play for the Calgary Flames?
Yeah, there's the whole team's great. It's a tight-knit group, and everyone wants to win. Everyone works hard and comes to the rink ready. And there's young guys that have come up, and if guys get hurt, they step up and play well. And I think one of those is Benny, Sam Bennett, especially last year in the playoffs. We had some injuries, and he got some games, and he came up big with some big goals for us and helped us clinch that series against Vancouver. And I think he's going to be a guy to watch coming up.
Okay, well, good stuff, because, listen, we really need the Calgary Flames back in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
There's just no question about it. And we know the big news the last couple of weeks out of Calgary is really the firing, the dismissal of your head coach, Bob Hartley. Did you feel this was coming? Maybe a tough question, but did you kind of anticipate with a tough year that maybe Hartley was on the block?
No, I think anytime a team has a tough year, one of the first people they look at is the coaches. And, I don't think anyone, knew what was going to happen.
Right.
I think, a lot of guys thought that, he'd still be there next year and they
right.
give him a chance. But, obviously they had reasons for doing what they did, and, what's going to happen next.
Who knows?
Who knows? So.
Well, I have it under very good information that Dave Cameron of the Dresden Junior Kings is on his way to Calgary. That's some inside information I have. Everybody else in the Junior C League is changing coaches and management. Get big Dave Cameron down there; he'll straighten it out. And I'm curious, when that happens, there's a termination of a coach. Does somebody call you? Does management call you? Does the coach call you and say, "Hey guys, I want you to know before the press conference today, or whatever, I'm on my way out"? Or does a GM or assistant GM call you and say, "Hey TJ, just want everybody to know we're making a change"?
No, we find out the same way as everyone else. Social media now. It happens so quick. The same as when guys are traded. Sometimes you might hear that a guy's on the block, but
right.
When it actually does happen, I think the quickest way to find out is Twitter and
right.
That type of thing, and that's how we find out.
Yeah.
Obviously when it does happen, once one guy finds out, then the rest of the guys eventually find out through texts and stuff. But yeah.
So it's just like trade deadline day, which we watch faithfully. Yeah. I used to watch it at work on my computer. I'm retired now, so I can say it. And, they call somebody and say, "Hey, you've been traded to the Sharks," or whatever. "How do you feel about it?" And they say, "Oh, I haven't been called yet," or whatever. But, well, TJ, we know you're a fixture in Calgary. And listen, everyone, we're going to take a commercial break with Corey North back in the station. When we come back, we're going to talk to TJ Brodie about growing up and playing hockey in Chatham, Kent. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. We are live here at Crabby Joe's in Wallaceburg. Peter Cobb, the wizard from Wallaceburg, Mr. Shawn, Patrick Moynihan, and TJ Brodie. And Shawn, I got a couple of shout-outs. Your mom and dad, I know they tune us in, Gump and Marie, every week. They're two of our loyal over there at the Oaks. I think your dad's the general manager over there of the ball club of whatever, hockey and baseball. My mom, she just got out of the hospital on Friday. I know she's, Mom, where TJ says, here, get well soon. Yep. We need you out up and about. But I want to share, I had a dream, TJ, the other night. I got to share this with you, that the Toronto Maple Leafs made a trade. They traded Nazem Kadri and Jake Gardiner for TJ Brodie. And I actually had a small parade down Lyttican Extension when this took place. And in the same dream, the Detroit Lions won the Super Bowl, Shawn.
Well, I think you hit it right on the nose, Pete. A dream.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Maple Leaf fan. I don't know, that would cause such a dilemma for me. If TJ ever went to the Maple Leafs, I'd have to wear some blue and white, and that just wouldn't work. But, in Chatham-Kent, TJ, we know we have a lot of Red Wing fans. We know we have a lot of Montreal Canadiens fans. Of course, we have a few Maple Leaf fans. But here's a kid from Chatham-Kent growing up, becoming an NHL superstar. And talk to us about your early days here in Chatham-Kent. I know you played some hockey in Dresden and then ultimately in Chatham. Talk to us about those early years.
Yeah, I started out in Dresden, playing minor hockey, and then as I got older, I can't remember how old I was. I went to Chatham to play AAA. I think I played three seasons there, and then I was drafted to Saginaw and ended up playing a season in Leamington, and then got traded to Barrie from Saginaw a couple years later.
Right. And, something I got to ask, you are just a tremendous skater. And we'll go to an NHL game, and the first thing we say is, oh, my God, I can't believe the speed of this game when you get up close. But how or where did you learn to skate? How did that happen?
I had a lot of skating coaches growing up. Carol Belanger and Laurie Gunn, they helped out a lot. And, I think it's one of those things that the earlier you learn, the easier it is. I think as you grow up, your body starts to do stuff naturally, and it's a lot harder to adjust and do things differently after you've done it like that for so long. So I think, my parents got me into it pretty early to that stuff, and I think definitely paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just heard a name, Carol Ann Belanger, who's a very good friend of ours, by the way.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic school principal and educator, and just a class act, Carol Ann. So I hope she's listening in tonight, because you're not really a prototypical defenseman. Tremendous skater. You like to join the rush. I think you had 45 points last year. Tell us about that. That's your game, jumping into the rush, really?
Yeah. The way the game is now, it's not about being big on defense or being physical. It's more about getting the puck out of your end. If there's a chance to create an odd man rush and produce offense off of it, then that's always a positive. But the game now, it's you want the puck and you want to get it out of your zone as quick as possible, and the quicker you can do that, then the better off you are.
Absolutely. And let's talk about, this always interests me, the NHL draft. 2008, you were drafted. You must have anticipated by contacts, etc., that you were going to get drafted that year.
I didn't really have a good idea if I was or not. I met with a couple teams. No one ever says anything for sure.
Okay.
I think the first round guys, I think are usually, teams will tell them, yeah, we're going to take you in the first round or second round if you're available. But I didn't really have an idea if I was going to get drafted or not. But my agent thought it'd be a good idea to go down. It was in Ottawa. So
it was at Scotiabank Place. So you actually went down for the draft.
Yep.
Outstanding. And Pete, a couple interesting facts. You know who went number 1 overall that year? Steven Stamkos. And you know who went number 2? Drew Doughty. Yeah, and they actually haven't worked out that well if you think about it. But I know you played with Alex Pietrangelo, and I think he went 4th.
Yep.
And let's talk about the Maple Leafs for a moment, because I think they drafted 5th that year. I believe it was one Luke Shen, who's no longer with the Maple Leafs. But, yeah, good going. But, you know, that year, TJ, number 15 in that draft was, ironically, in Ottawa, of course, was Erik Karlsson, who's worked out tremendously for Ottawa. You were drafted in the 4th round. I looked at the name. I saw Braden Holtby, who's turned into just one of the premier goalies, of course, plays for the Washington Capitals. Tell us about that day. And Calgary had acquired that draft previously in a trade, I believe, from the Anaheim Ducks. Tell us about that. You're sitting there and waiting. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it's it was interesting. You go there and not knowing if I was going to get taken or not. It's you're hoping to, and you're sitting there, and they keep calling guys' names out, and it's just the longer the day goes, you get a sort of feeling in the pit of your stomach that maybe you won't get drafted, and when it finally did happen, it was sort of catches you off guard, and I don't really remember after that what happened.
Is that right?
There's so much stuff going through your head, and you have to go down and you meet all the scouts and the GM and all those guys. And
who was the GM back then? Do you remember?
It was Daryl Sutter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because for a while, Sutter was rumored to be returning to Calgary to coach, but I see the Kings signed him instantly, so I guess that's not going to happen. What about your parents that day? They must have been ecstatic.
Yeah, it was exciting. I think I'm not sure actually, because as soon as you're drafted, you're gone. You go and you do interviews, get pictures taken, meet everyone and stuff. So I don't really know what they did during that time, but yeah, we went out after and we celebrated and had some fun, and it's definitely a day that I'll never forget.
Yeah, well, you were drafted 114th, but what a tremendous draft year for Calgary.
And TJ, I was drafted 115th in road hockey, so I just want to let you know I still, Shawn, hold the road hockey goal in the city of Chatham.
We talked a lot about that before, Pete. Your mother was a goaltender in that league, so please don't get too excited. Well, can you tell us about your first game you played as an NHL professional? I believe you were in Abbotsford playing at the time. Did they call you and say, "Hey, get to so-and-so tonight"? What did that look like?
It was actually the first game of the season. My first year, the way they used to run in Calgary was, unless you can't play in the AHL until you're 20. So if you're younger than that, you'll go to the rookie camp, and then once that's done, you go back to your junior team.
Okay.
So it was my first year of being able to play in the AHL. So I got to stay for main camp and play some exhibition games and meet the guys. And, I ended up, getting lucky, and they kept me up, and I started the season. We played the first game in Edmonton, and that was my first game. So it was a little bittersweet. We ended up losing, but it was so surreal to be there and to be playing, and it was a dream come true.
What about that first shift? What were you saying to yourself? Hey, I can't turn the puck over. Or, what do you recall what that was like? And was there nerves, or is it a case of I got into the flow of the game and I was fine?
No, there's nerves. It's one of those things that you're almost overthinking the game, and you're so worried about something bad happening that you end up making mistakes.
Right.
And I was actually on for Eberle's first goal, which is my fault. So that's something that I'll never forget too. Because it was all over the highlights for the rest of the season. So I got to watch it over and over again.
What about your first goal in the NHL? Do you recall that? Where? Yeah. What did it look like?
Yeah, it was in Minnesota, and it was a fluke. I just skated in. I was actually trying to pass it back door, and it went off the toe of my stick and ended up going through the goalie's 5-hole, and you know, it's a goal. A goal's a goal. I'll take it. But
well, TJ, first of all, you got to become a better liar like Pete and I. You got to say it was a blast from 18 feet out that I buried in the corner. But well, good for you. And you know, I always like watching. I used to watch it a lot. Battle of Alberta. Hockey out there is really special, needless to say. Tell us about playing in the Saddle Dome. Must be exciting. The fans.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great arena. You know, the playoffs last year was incredible. Probably about 5 games left in the season. Every game kept getting louder and louder, and then every playoff game got louder and louder. And it was, you know, it's one of those things where you're in there and you're playing, and you know, everyone's cheering so loud. You start the hairs on the back of your neck start to stand up, and you know, it gives you a little boost of adrenaline.
I'm curious. I haven't been to a lot of other arenas besides, you know, the Air Canada Centre and, of course, Joe Louis. Where do you like to play? If you're out of town, what are some of the more exciting rinks to go to and play hockey?
Chicago's definitely it's up there. It's if you went to Chicago, anyone out there, it's awesome.
The Madhouse.
Yep.
Yeah, TJ, we've been there, Shawn, you and I, and Kirk Early, who's tuning us in tonight. We were there for a basketball game, and I'm stunned. First of all, the noise, and everybody has a uniform.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's Blackhawk or if the Bulls are playing, they're all wearing Bulls uniforms, and it really is the Madhouse on Madison.
Yeah, it's
outstanding.
It's awesome. During the anthem, well, the American one, they're standing the whole time, yelling and screaming the whole anthem. And
where else do you like to go?
Detroit's always a favorite. You know, it's close to home. Everyone, you know, it's always good to see everyone. Everyone takes time to, you know, come and watch and stay after the game to, you know, get a chance to say hi. And it's, you know, it's definitely special being able to play in front of, you know, people from back home.
And I heard a talk that I think it was last year. Big Crew met you down in Nashville, and you had a huge contingent down there. And by the way, thanks for Pete. Our invite must have got lost in the mail, but I heard there's a great big crowd down in Nashville.
Yeah. You know, they like to go down there and have some fun, and you know, it's a great time. You know, usually when we're there, you know, at least I get a chance to go out to dinner and stuff with them. So, you know, it's special to be able to have more than, you know, after a game when I see them, I have, you know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes to talk to people. So to actually have a chance to sit down and have a conversation is nice, and you know, I think they'll enjoy it a lot more than I do. I know that.
Sure. And, you know, not to put you on the spot, but why not? You're a 99.1 CKXS Sports Talk. Is there a couple places you don't like to play at? That it's, I don't know, mundane, or it's just not a great atmosphere, or too long of a trip?
There's a bunch, you know, and you know, mostly it's not so much as that. It's you know, seems like every time you know, I play there. From a personal point of view, I have a bad game, and so I always dread playing at those places, and that's like Florida. St. Louis is a tough place to play at.
Oh, wow.
Anaheim, we haven't won in Anaheim since I've been with the team. I think it's like 25 games we've lost in a row there.
Yeah.
So
I had that a little later to bring up. I can read your body language. I'll avoid that. And listen, we're going to go to a break in a minute, but before we go to break, just tell me, who are some of the players in the NHL that you're up against? Who are some of the players that really do amaze you? I know we watch it on TV and we find Ovechkin incredible and Crosby, but who do you see play that you say, oh my nerves, that is one fine hockey player?
Honestly, there's probably at least one guy in every team. You know, every team has the guy that, when they're on the ice, you have to look around and know they're out there. And you know, if they get the puck, you know, you can't be watching the puck, or you know, they'll be behind you and in on a breakaway. And you know, it's amazing some of the skill that some of these guys have, and the speed, and and you know, it's one of those things, but it's a challenge. You know, you look forward to it, and every game you play against them, you know, you want to shut them down and make a difference and help the team win.
Well, everyone, This is fantastic. We're on CK Sports Talk with TJ Brodie, number 7 of the Calgary Flames. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to take a few questions from the crowd. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. We are live here at Crabby Joe's in Wallaceburg. Yeah, Trevor over there. You know what, TJ? Let's give some shout-outs. You got half of Dresden, Ontario here tuning us in, and, boy, they're putting away chicken wings like 10 men.
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, let's do some more shout-outs. You got a big one.
Well, listen, Pete, I want a big throw-out to everyone on Jeju Island at the Magpie Brewing Company in South Korea. Beer business in Korea is exploding, and I know they tune us in. I want a special call-out to the Big E and Tiffany, everyone, if you're in South Korea. And that's where the next Winter Olympics are, by the way. And TJ Brodie just might be there, and along with us at the Magpie Brewing Company. So hello to everyone in Magpie.
And we have lovely Amber here sitting at our table, too. And, boy, this is some kind of exciting, my dear. You got to be having the time of your life.
So great.
Oh, she wasn't expecting that, folks, but we had to get her on the air, and TJ is just loving it. Listen, this is the part of our program here where we have some questions from the audience. Ethan Vandermeers from Chatham, Ontario. TJ, he's got, look at it, you know what? This is a cerebral kid. He's got 3 questions for you. Who was your favorite player growing up?
Steve Yzerman.
Oh, my, Stevie Y. And I think if I look over my shoulder, there's a picture. Look at all these people here. They got Phil Esposito, Steve Yzerman, Kenny Houston, Wayne Gretzky. We got to get a picture of TJ Brodie in this Wallaceburg. Come on, what's going on? And how did that player influence you? How did Stevie Y influence you?
Yeah, it was just the way he played. I grew up, I was pretty young. I was, 7 or 8 when they won the Cup, and Detroit was my favorite team, so obviously I watched them the most. And, he's just all around a great player. He was a leader. He's a quiet guy, and he's just fun to watch. And, I was just drawn to him, I guess, growing up.
Outstanding. Tia Batter. My goodness, Tia here in the crowd sitting with that Dresden crew. What are you excited about with the Flames next year?
Yeah, there's lots to be excited about. The young guys coming up are skilled and great players, and obviously, there's a lot of excitement about a coach. No one knows who it's going to be, but I think that'll excite people and have new systems, and I think after last year, we just have to build off of that and do better.
Well, I know one thing. That coach better let number 7 jump into the rush, Mr. Moynihan. Hey, how about the former W.T. Lang Crusader, Trevor Macco? And he's munching on a chicken wing. Oh, my goodness. He swallowed the whole thing whole. It's incredible. He wants to know, like I want to know, when are you coming to my beloved Toronto Maple Leafs?
I have no idea.
Good answer. All right, and we got Mallory Cook from Chatham, Ontario, the Maple City. Why do you like defense?
I actually never used to like it. Growing up, I always wanted to be a forward, and I think every kid likes to, play offense, score goals, get points, and my dad made me play defense. He was the coach, so he sort of forced me back there, and my only way to play forward was to jump up in the rush, and I think it at the end of the day it might have paid off.
And it certainly did, because that's the game of the NHL.
Yeah.
You talked about it. I think of back in the day, they had the Pat Quinn, number 23 of the Leafs, who KO'd one Bob Orr, who had his head down. But that was the defenseman, a big, brawny guy. And he made life very uncomfortable. If you, A, had your head down, or B, stood in front of that net too long, you were getting whacked. Dale Vandermeers. And Dale, I didn't realize, Dale, he's from Dresden, too. Good gracious. Sitting over here to our left. Growing up, what was your favorite sport other than hockey?
Ball hockey?
Okay, hockey. Yeah.
I played soccer a little bit when I was younger. Started in baseball, but I was, like T-ball when no one could hit, and you pretty much just pick the grass when you're out in the outfield. So, I got
the trains go by, yeah. How about your favorite baseball team and NBA? Are you a Raptors fan?
Yeah, you got to be.
Yeah.
Raptors. I like the Jays too. It's.
You're not a Batista fan. Please don't tell me you're about. He got his due last night, folks. Yeah. A little UFC action. I loved it. Come on now. All right. How about Shawn, your lovely bride, Jenny Moynihan? What do you like to do in your spare time?
Relax. Sort of homebody, I guess. Hang out at the house. Being home with the summer and stuff, we'll go boating and we'll see everyone and hang out with the family and friends whenever we have a chance. And in Calgary, it's pretty much just stay around the house and recover and relax. And
the odd time you will catch you out at Grassy, scuba diving and doing lengths. And Ginny, folks, I didn't realize, Shawn, that Ginny is originally from Kent Bridge, formerly Northwood. Incredible. And do you ever get tired of hockey? Like, do you ever tire of the game, or do you say, jeepers, I got to take a break, or is it on your mind quite a bit?
During the season, obviously, your body gets worn out, and you start to feel it that way, and you want a break just so you're so you feel 100% out there. But I find it the opposite in the summer when I stop skating and take a month or two off. You get that itch and you want to get back on the ice and start shooting pucks and skating again. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm still playing.
All right. Well, we are going to take one final break here, and then we're going to come back, hand the microphone back to the wizard from Wallaceburg, Mr. Shawn Patrick Moynihan, to close out this outstanding interview with the great TJ Brodie. We will be right back. All right, folks, welcome back again. We are live from Crabby Joe's here in Wallaceburg. Peter Cobb along with the wizard, Mr. Shawn Patrick Moynihan. TJ Brodie is our guest, and boy, this place has been rocking. There's tons of chicken wings flying. Big Dave Cameron, my bodyguard, the mountain, sent over an adult beverage for us. Thank you, Dave, and all those folks. And Mr. Moynihan, take us home.
Well, Pete, couple clarifications. We've got a quick buzz from TJ's agent. He's got no trade clause to Toronto. So just for the record, we're not going to Toronto. And I'm for the record also, all the Bobby Orr fans out there who, if you think about it, sort of revolutionized the very game that TJ plays today by moving that puck. Number 4 from Perry Sound, Ontario, the former Oshawa General. Anyways, that hit by Pat Quinn, dirty, opportunistic. It's not the way athletes roll. But TJ, our last question from Jen from Northwood, and there's no radio station in the world that ever has a Northwood reference. So once again, we're leading the pack. But are you watching the playoffs presently? Do you tune them in to see what's going on?
Yeah, I watch a little bit, and I sort of stopped, I guess, after Dallas got beat out. I was watching them just because Russell, he's a good buddy from Calgary, and it's been they've been some good games though.
Yeah. And who do you like? If you see the game up close, we got St. Louis, San Jose, Tampa Bay, and Pittsburgh, and of course St. Louis stole game 1, 2-1 against San Jose, and Tampa Bay walked into Pittsburgh and robbed Pittsburgh game 1, 3-1. Who do you like as an insider? And we talked about this, TJ. It's about that hot goaltender. Usually somebody comes from nowhere.
Yep.
What team do you see coming from nowhere and hoisting the cup?
It's a tough one. It's it's so hit or miss. I thought San Jose would have finished Nashville off a little bit quicker. So before last series I would have said them, but seeing Nashville put up a fight, it's tough to pick between those two teams. And then Tampa Bay, I think a lot of it depends on Bishop, if he's back or not, and if the goalie that is playing, if he has to play, can get the job done. And
Bishop's a game-time decision, but I think the rumor is he's going to be back.
Yeah.
And, St. Louis, Pete, we've talked about this a lot. That Ken Hitchcock, his style is playoff hockey.
Yeah.
Doesn't give up shots, doesn't give up goals. But anyways, we'll have to watch and see and talk about that in the future, Pete. TJ, I know, first of all, you're just hounded for time. You've been so generous to us. And talk to us, though. I know there's a number of charities, one in particular that you're very dedicated to, and we want to give you a moment to talk about your special charities.
Yeah, we started a charity. This is the second year for it. It's called Skate and Strides. It's for cystic fibrosis. And last year we did skate guards, and this year we continued the skate guards and we added hats. And it's $20 for a pair of skate guards or a hat, and then every pair that we sell raises $30 to go towards CS.
Fantastic. Well, good for you. That's as I said, I know how your time is at such a demand. Well, TJ, first of all, on behalf of Pete and I, thank you so much for joining with us. You met with us a couple of weeks ago to go over everything. Most importantly, everyone, TJ Brodie is such a class act. Tremendous role model. He gives so much to our community. And listen, one final thought and question. When you win a Stanley Cup, get your name engraved on it, will you bring it back to 99-1 and let Pete and I drink from that cup? Is that possible? Can you commit to that? Well, TJ, thank you for joining us in 99-1. Everyone, we thoroughly enjoyed TJ Brodie.
Well, I'll tell you, he is something special, folks, and makes us proud that we're from Chatham, Kent. And he continues to do great things, and we encourage you to go and check out, purchase the skate guards and the hats. I know Shawn and I are going to collect a couple before we hit the road here. So, for our very special guest, Mr. TJ Brodie, for Chris Taylor over there, who helped set it all up for us, our technical advisor, for Corey North, the man who's from Ridgetown, and he'll be heading south to Ridgetown, that is. For my partner in crime, Mr. Shawn Patrick Moynihan, the wizard from Wallaceburg. My name's Peter Cobb, saying so long.